Hey guys, Sledge67 here. Just wanted to say happy holidays. Hope you're set to have a great time for whatever it is you're doing. I hope you're safe and I hope you get to see family and friends and have a great time. Hey, I just wanted to kind of post a real quick video. I got some gameplay here of some of the legendary lost sectors in the background. Just a little something fun to watch while we talk about some of this stuff. But it's really been interesting. So a lot of the content providers that I subscribe to, and also many that post on YouTube and others, like myself, there's been this big debate about recycling old content, like bringing in the Vault of Glass. I think that's great. I love the Vault of Glass. I think that would be fantastic. And they're talking about bringing back all the associated weapons and rewards from the Vault of Glass and repurposing them for D2. So far in our experience, the stuff they brought back to D2 for the most part, not all of it, but much of it they brought from D1 to D2 has not really been as good. I'm personally kind of disappointed in Hawkmoon. It's okay. I'd rather use weapons like Malfeasance, to be truthful, but I think that there is a great rift right now between the people that would rather just see new content being introduced as opposed to recycling old stuff, which I think is kind of interesting. It's a good argument. We're paying, pretty good money for this game, and I say that because not everybody wants it, can afford to go put out $100 for a digital edition of a game to get all the goodies and the things that you want, because you want the extra goodies in the game, okay? And me personally, I'm a PvE guy, okay? I like buying the game for the story behind it. Forsaken had a great story. Shadowkeep was okay, not great at all. In fact, there's probably a lot of people would say, yeah, it sucked. It was okay. I liked that they brought the moon back, and I liked there was a lot of new content on the moon, a lot of new things to do. But you know what really actually kind of stinks right now, and you're going to laugh at me about this, is that you can go to the moon and there is like nothing to do there that is anything even relevant to the particular game right now. Everything drops at 1060. All the events are 1060. Even if you run the dungeon and you run Pit and you get the reward, you get a masterworked piece of 1060. It doesn't reward powerfuls. It doesn't reward anything. It's a useless destination now. And that is unfortunate. I like the moon. But if you're going to bring back content, locations like this, and then they're going to be irrelevant in the next season or the next season or two, you're not going to bring the loot up to gear, some of the weapons and things. I understand sunsetting. I'm not disagreeing with it, but come on, guys. You can't take this much content out without putting it back and upsetting a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are just really upset over this. And it isn't even a mountaintop recluse versus new stuff kind of thing. It's just the fact that there is literally a lot of stuff in the game right now that really has no relevance to anything, because when you do it, it doesn't reward you anything good. The old raids are not, I'm going to kind of leave it at that. I don't like to be one of those people that picks on stuff and, I love Destiny. I am going to be probably a career player. I just love it. It's one of the few games I've been able to put myself into and really, really, really enjoy. And for that, I'm happy. It's not, not many games I can put myself into. They just announced Halo Infinite is not going to be out until fall of next year. I have no idea what's going on with that platform up there, but man, they are having a very hard time. Anyway, so I want to kind of touch about this. What do you guys feel? Do you think recycling old content is really not what we're paying for, and we should be paying for new content? That's at least what I think. I think I understand that you need to recycle some old content, but on the other hand, I like that old stuff is coming back because I like some of the old stuff, but we need more content for what we're paying. I don't think it's worth the money at this point, and that's an issue. I think a lot of players will agree with me on that, and we need to do something about it. And I think Bungie needs to address that. The loot pool right now, the general weapon and loot pool, is too small. They've taken too much out and not put enough back. Now, they're talking about fixing that in the next season, but there are ways they could address that now. There are ways they could address that very easily by turning by taking the moon and having it drop actually relevant stuff. If you don't want to drop moon weapons, then fine. Make weapons from the general pool available for us to drop. There's plenty of loot in the pool since you added all the Seven Seraph stuff back in for the most part. But I find it interesting that you've only allowed certain weapons from Season of the Worthy, I believe it was with Saint 14. You're allowing Breachlight, and you're allowing the Scout Rifle. You're allowing just certain things in, but others not. I would steal, like for instance, the auto rifle, the 720 auto rifle. Yeah, I mean, it's really great, but there are other weapons that would be great to have in from that same like Saint 14. We can't grind for Saint 14 the Perfect Paradox anymore. That should be, why was that excluded? That's a great shotgun, and there's really not another shotgun that meets its match right now or is as good in that kinetic slot that you can grind for. So I mean, why be choosy with some of that stuff? I guess I never did understand why you took some things out and left others in. And again, the moon is a big deal for me. If you're going to bring new stuff forward, that's great, but let's keep. The moon was the last major location that was added to the content before you took out the other planets, and now it's pretty much useless. There's nothing to do over there. The nightmare hunts don't return anything above 1060 and so forth. So why can't we get better stuff? Why can't we get that stuff bumped up? And especially in regards to the dungeon should reward stuff above 1060. Getting a masterwork piece of gear is, that's 1060 is just throwaway. And I'd just like to see that different. And moving on, the last thing I want to talk about is kind of like PvP versus PvE versus the raid stuff. And I want to talk about this because I'm a PvE player, okay? I do have a group of guys that I play with pretty often, but because of having a job and a life, I have time restrictions, just like a lot of other people. Trying to get together a group of people to do a raid is great, and a lot of people do that, but I can tell you that it's getting harder and harder, especially with everything going on right now in the world, to find time to do this. And I think that if more people, if they made, I would like to see a matchmaking level for the raid at some point. It qualified people based on, if they completed the raid before. If they completed the raid before, then they can go into a matchmaking queue to find people easier. That would be great. Setting the matchmaking queue one level higher in the Nightfall ordeals. If you're going to take away the normal Nightfalls, which you've done now, let's up the Nightfall queue for Legend level from Hero, so that way those of us looking to do 100Ks and things, and we just can't get our fire team online at the same time, can actually, find a couple other people trying to do the same thing. I have ran into plenty of people capable of doing that in my runs. And there's a lot of time when I'm doing that I'm running solo. I don't have all three people with me. Maybe I just got one. This is something that could definitely up the PvE side for us. Okay? The last thing is, and I like, you get people play the games for different reasons. I like the storylines. I like playing the content. Obviously, this is more about once you play the content, just becoming a shoot and loot kind of thing. But you know what? More story would not hurt you, Bungie. Let's do more story. Let's have more things with a line based around it, quests, things that allow us to get involved with the lore more about what's going on. That's what I loved about, Destiny in the first place, and it seems to be over time getting more away from this and more about, I don't know. It seems more about bounties, and I carry bounties all the time. I'm not anything great. I think I'm level 163, 164 for this season already. My character is about 1272. And I'm not really, going out there trying to level up and go crazy and going after, the raids and farming the raids for gear or anything like that. I do my pinnacles, I get my stuff, I do a lot of my weekly stuff, and I make sure I have bounties on me most of the time so I can get the materials and things like that and keep a stock of those things. But I can, and for all 3 characters, which is expensive. But I think that it would be a lot more rewarding to have more storyline. Guys, tell me what you think. I really love to hear about this because that's something that I hear about all the time is more story, more lore, more things that tie us into the story or the back scenes of what's going on in Destiny. Doing the Saint 14 thing was kind of fun because we got to learn more about Saint 14. We got to, go into and find the grave and talk to, find out, see the death of our own guardian. That was really interesting stuff, how that laid out. And we did things we weren't really expecting. But I'd love to see more of that kind of thing. Really would love to see more. The storyline for this has been good, but to me, the storyline is not long enough. It is not nearly long enough. It's very short, as a matter of fact, especially considering you just took 4 locations and all their associated loot out of the pool. PvP, please, if there's any way in hell you can get this back to skill-based matching from what it is now. What I find when I play, Banner, when I play PvP of any kind, you're either in with you either have a really good group that you hit, and it's just very one-sided because the skill level is huge between you, or you end up with, every once in a while you end up with a good game, but usually it's really heavy loaded. One side wins more than the other. Either you win or they win, and it's usually by a large gap. It's not the close games where, there's squeakers and you're fighting for every kill. It's usually you get slaughtered or you slaughter them. I'm sorry, but the skill-based matching was way better. I know there's other players that feel like that about this. And I think because of that, it just doesn't make it, it's not fun. It's not rewarding for me to play PvP anymore. I used to love Iron Banner, and I hate it ever since the changes were done. So that is something I don't like to do anymore. The Legend Lost sectors to go for Legend and Master ones to go for loot, I think that's a great idea. It's, you can learn them, play it like some of the background play here. You can get your loadouts just right and get in there to win the loot. In fact, in this run, the background play here is where I got my mask. So I'm really happy about some things, but a lot more work to be done, Bungie. A lot more work. Anyway, just my thoughts for the holiday. I hope that somebody from Bungie sees this. If you agree with me, great. You don't agree with me, great. Leave some comments. I really think people should get more feedback to Bungie. I don't think they get enough feedback about what people really want in this game. And I believe there's players that play it for different reasons. I play it for the PvE side. I want more story. I want more quests. I want more things that involve me and what's going on in the Destiny 2 story or in the entire Destiny story, period. Always enjoyed that side of it. It's one of the reasons why Halo was so great. It had a great campaign. And the campaigns like in 2 and 3 were excellent. They were long, they were involved, they had good storylines, there was good gameplay involved, and that's kind of where you guys got your roots. A lot of us came from Halo into Bungie, and Bungie is a huge improvement over what Halo was, but you guys have forgotten the roots of what makes a really great game. It's not that it isn't a great game, it could be so much better if there was more content, more campaign. And when I say content, campaign is important because it establishes story, and there's so much really great lore with Destiny. So anyway, hope you have a safe holiday. I am Sledge67. I'm going to be signing off for the holiday, and I hope and wish you have a fantastic Christmas and a great New Year. I'll be producing some new stuff after the first of the year. Maybe over the holiday, we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, have a good one. Have a safe one. And we'll see you guys online.